So how you doing, Honey Bunch?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, we're here the first day of August when we're recording this, so we made it through July, and now school's about to start, so this is good. So we've got some rosé. Provençal rosé. Cheers. Beautiful. That is very nice.
Yeah, not bad.
Costco special. All right, we have a few games to talk about that we played over the course of this month. Some really solid, some that really kind of weren't for us. But we like to do this overview at least once a month so you guys get a chance to see what we're playing and so that we can talk about this, put some comments. We'd love to hear from you and subscribe below and so on. And of course, there's the weekly podcast where we're reviewing at least 2 games every week and having some fun with that.
And those are more in depth, obviously.
Definitely
than
more.
This is more just a little sprinkling.
Yes, it's the sprinkling, the overview, if you will. Oh, okay. So, Shell, are you going to start us off here?
Well, I'm going to start out with one of my favorite games, which is Terraforming Mars. This is the one of the many expansions, and we have all of them.
Fourth.
We have all of them. It's by Jacob Frixelius.
You got it.
Okay. Well, this expansion has a area majority kind of, area majority off the board, a little sideboard, and you're trying to get influence in certain factions. And each time it's your turn, one of your actions in this area is free. So it does motivate you to use this board. There's, of course, different starting cards that have been in other expansions as well. And each time it tells you what you're going to be kind of working on if that faction gets in power.
Yes.
And you'll have certain cards that tell you to work towards that faction.
Yes.
This is a fine expansion, especially if you don't have the boards that, have been in some of the other ones. We, of course, have Doug made the wooden ones, and we have all the fancy stuff, so we didn't really need that portion of it. So I would say this isn't a necessary expansion. However, if you are a completist and you must have everything that is Terraforming Mars, then go ahead and get it.
Yes, I think it's a solid expansion, and I think Shelley's totally right in that it's not a necessary expansion, but it does have some cards that you could include even without using all of this expansion.
That is a good point, yes. But in terms of like my choice to play, it would not be. I would include all the other expansions and probably not this one.
Yeah. I wouldn't maybe necessarily include all of the other expansions because
that's true. Because sometimes that elongates the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a long game in and of itself, and we've played it a lot. So
you know who you are. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so solid on number 1.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is a print and play. So as we've been in this crazy time of the coronavirus and stuff. There has been some really cool publishers who have been putting out a variety of things, and one of them was Days of Wonder, and they did Ticket to Ride, Stay at Home, which uses the trains and cards from a Ticket to Ride game that you already have, and then gives you a new map and new destination tickets, and I thought it was pretty fun.
I loved it. I thought it's very fun. You get to choose to be mom, brother, sister, or dad.
That gives you specific tickets.
And that's going to give you a couple to start, but then you have a variety. But it's quite challenging, actually, to get through to different areas on the board.
Shelley's
because there's walls. There's
stuff.
Some spatial stuff going on for sure. So there's some walls, and to get to the half bath might be hard, or to get to the desk area might be challenging. So we enjoyed it, and there are areas where you have to really sort of work together or block off somebody from doing like a common route.
Yeah, there's
so
these things called family routes
that
you can, more than one person can build onto, and then all of them can share that route if they're making connections. So Ticket to Ride, Stay at Home. We need to, some of us, stay at home still. So
I highly recommend that you stay at home and that you get the game and play it.
There you go.
All right. So here is another game that we played and we reviewed. It's called Fluttering Souls by Joel Lewis. It is not our excitement. However, it might be yours if you like kind of getting some cards, and if you get 3 of this card, it's worth 4 points, or 2 of this type of butterfly, it's worth this point. And you have some that are face up and some that are face down. It really didn't do much for us. We felt that it was a little bit rudimentary for a game.
Two-player only, and just a card drafting game. Not much for us. Yeah.
No.
All right, another little small game that we liked but didn't love. Loved some of its other cousins, if you will. This is Tybor the Builder, which Oh My Goods is kind of the world, if you will, that this is set in. But in this one, you've got buildings that you are building, but you still have some of that multi-use card thing that is part of Oh My Goods. Here you are drafting people, and you can use them either as workers or you can have them as citizens. And then you use the workers and you spend a card from your hand to do buildings. Gets a little bit samey, but solid game, and it can play. This would have been one that we would have seen if somebody else has, because this is Meeple Fest weekend. It would have been, which we can't have, unfortunately. But this one plays 2 to 4 or up to 8 with a second deck. So kind of cool.
I would think that it would be quite a bit of fun to do that as a 8 player, but 2-player, it was like, yeah, it's fine. We've talked about this one before.
Yep.
It is definitely a winner. Uwe Rosenberg's Second Chance. Lots of fun, Tetris pieces. It's something that we can pull out, play in 10 minutes when we've had a hard day, which, I don't know about you, but we sometimes have hard days. And it's something we can play while the pasta's boiling or whatever.
There you go.
So I can't recommend this game enough because it is so much fun.
I can't recommend this wine enough. This is very good wine here. So, yeah. All right, let's get into some bigger games here.
Yes.
The first one is one of those that's kind of unexpected. You hear Target and Target exclusive, and you think family game, kind of like if Spiel des Jahres. That's kind of the weight, lightweight. You can play with gamers and non-gamers, and it attracts everybody in. Well, they have an exclusive Pan Am. And this thing is really a gamer's game. It is pretty heavyweight for what it is. 2 to 4 players and plays in about an hour. And I think the design is great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You're over time you're building routes around the world. You've got a world map, and then you have engineers that you're putting out as workers, because it's a choice of actions. But there's kind of this bidding war that goes on in 3 of the 5 places where you can put your engineer workers, and you have to pay money. And ultimately, and this is kind of an interesting wrinkle, that you've got money and you're building up money over the course of the game, but you're buying Pan Am stock at one point in each of the 7 rounds, and you have to kind of determine, well, how is this going to be a good time to buy stock or not? Is this a good price or not? And at the end of the game, whoever has the most stock, and that's it, is the winner. So you can kind of get behind the curve a bit, and you have to be attentive to how much stock is my friend buying over there, and oh my gosh, I got to pay attention. So I really liked this game.
I think it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
It is. You will have fun. You will think about things, to get the routes to be complete. There's some interesting ways that works.
Yeah.
So it's not just, I have to have this city and that city. There's other things involved. You can put an airport.
Yeah.
You can discard cards from the same region. Discard a card from the same region to be able to place an airport where you want to, and you have to have the certain value of your airplane to be appropriate too.
Right.
And then you really want Pan Am at times to it's expanding, so it buys your route and gives you your plane back, which you're happy about, but it buys your route, and then you get money so that you can buy stocks.
Yes.
It is a very good, an incredible thing. My head was kind of blown initially because I really did not expect it to be that much fun.
Really a solid title, and surprisingly heavy for a Target exclusive.
Very heavy.
But in a good way. So big thumbs up, I think, for Pan Am and what Target is doing there.
Another game that we played is called Traders of the Air, and this is by Michael Schacht. And if you are familiar with Hansa, this is that game is out of print, and this is the new redo of that,
Yes.
plus more with expansions included and some different rules too.
Right.
So Hansa is an amazing game, and if you don't have it, then you definitely want to get Traders of the Air, because it is a game where you are all moving one piece. And you
Yeah.
have very small amount of actions in which you can take, and all you're doing on your turn is moving, which is an action which costs a coin, or picking up goods from that area if you don't have majority, which would cost a coin.
Right.
And so it's very fast play and lots of fun.
Yes, definitely.
And we love Michael Schock's designs, and this Hansa is high up on our love list. So this one adds some different components to it. So there are different powers that you can have, which I tend to like, for kind of focuses you to think differently about a game. It's kind of like the Terraforming Mars cards that you start with. That kind of focuses your brain to go a different way.
Yeah, like the corporations.
The corporations,
It's a good comparison. Yeah.
And the other thing is there's some different rules with this game in terms of you can go backwards, which is 2 coins, so
Instead
not
of
always
1,
following the
right.
arrows. So if you have had the great opportunity to play Hansa but don't have Hansa, you really should get Traders of the Air. It is a beautiful design, and the game is simple, perfect, and but has some different components within the this game.
This fits in that super filler category, which is really
Yeah,
fun.
it's nice.
All right. Next one is one that I really, really, really wanted to like, because it's got this interesting building mechanic where you are placing tokens on a board and you've got to get them in a pattern in a certain way.
Your dream shards.
Yes, exactly. And this is Dreamscape. And I kickstarted this, and there are like 2 extra boxes that came with it, and an insert, and all of
Oh
these
my gosh,
various
there's
things.
tons of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Snowmen and crows and all of this stuff. And you've got these huge discs that you're building on. You're drafting from the main board and putting onto your dream board. But the problem was, it felt like the game was a little sluggish, and that you didn't have enough time, really. Also, besides it being sluggish, you didn't have enough time to really build the cards that you were supposed to build to create the full dream effect, right? So I wanted it to move along more quickly and slow down at the same time, which is weird. So, it's one of those games where I think there's something in there, but it didn't realize, and it may be because we play a 2-player.
Yeah, that's true.
It might be the 2-player situation, but it just doesn't work for me.
There's an incredible amount of spatial, like get certain levels of your dreams, like get your forest to this level, get your green, your blue. You're getting things to certain levels. You're getting your dreamer to certain spots, and when you accomplish that, then you can start working on your next dream that you're trying to do.
Right, exactly.
But
usually you can only have one dream that you're working on, but there's a place where you can get more.
Yeah, there's powers in certain rooms that you can go to, and you can sometimes get to go for free if you have the right shards in your. But it's not my cup of tea for sure.
I agree. I agree. All right, what's your last one here?
My last one is called Hadara by Benjamin Schwer. And hopefully I said that correctly, Benjamin. And this is a game that came out, 2018, but we got it 2019.
No, we got it actually at 2008, Essen 2018, because it was released in a limited version there, and then Hadara was re-released at Essen 2019 by Hans and Glück with a different cover. Because
This is the first
the
cover?
first edition cover.
Okay.
That I think they felt that they had more in the box than what people had realized, and it hadn't been maybe sold well the first time. And it really is a solid game.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's
She's really good at it.
Yeah. What can I say? It's a fun game though. Part of it is the rounds go really fast, and you're going one direction for half and then another direction for the other half, which is kind of cool.
Not really.
You do. You have your 2 cards, and you're picking to either buy one and put one into the common discard pile, which then could be purchased later. So that's
Okay.
the second half.
Okay.
Or you discard it for $2, $3, or $4,
Okay.
depending on the
But
round
you're doing
that you're
that
in.
the same. But when I think of
Well,
going
you're putting
one
the
way or
cards
the other
down,
way,
and then in the second part, you're pulling the cards up.
Okay, all right. I'll give her that.
So that's what I think.
The reason there is this little wheel in the
Yeah.
middle of the board. So I thought you were like alluding to an incorrect thing, which would be that we're turning it the other way or something.
Oh, the wheel. No. But the wheel indicates what cards you're going to be taking from.
Right.
And so you're deciding where to start that so that you can get cards that you want when you have a certain amount of money so that you can buy them.
Right.
And money is really tight because you're always buying cards and then you're having to get rid of cards to get more money. Right. And then you use that money to make all these different colors go up so that they have the power, and then that gives you certain things. So it's a great game.
It's a great game, and one of the reasons why we pulled it off the shelf again, we've now done, we did a podcast back in May 2019 about it, so if you want to get even more details, you can tune into that. And we'll also have another one out in October that is talking about the 4 different expansions that have now come out. There's a new deck that you can use, there's Monuments module that you've got. There's a
market.
The market and monuments. There's the starting cards, which came as a Spielbox expansion, and then there's one that was a print and play as well, which we didn't really use. It's called the Plague Doctors, because if you take it, it's worth a certain amount of points, but then it stops your ability to take cards in that particular color, and we're like, we don't want to do that.
I did that once.
No. It stops your cards from taking the.
Oh.
There's one that it makes it so you don't get the discount.
Oh,
That's
I
different.
took that. That's
exactly.
That's not a problem.
All right. So the last one for this month is one that we really liked, and that is Medieval Realms. Now, as I said when we talked about this on a podcast that's coming up in a couple of weeks, Medieval Realms, when Shelley saw this, she was like, Medieval Realms? I don't know, Doug. Is this like Dungeons and Dragons or something? I'm sorry, that's a really bad Shelley. But it's true that she was a little put off by it at first. But this is a card drafting and purchasing game, and then it takes up a lot of space, by the way, on your table. But it turns out this is a really solid medium weight game where you're playing over a certain number of rounds, I think 5 or 7, and you're drafting every time. You see what cards are possibly coming out for the next round, and you're not only drafting cards, but you're also obtaining various resources, both through a guaranteed market and a competitive map where you have to have the most representation to obtain those resourose. So I love that counterbalance of both. You're definitely going to be able to do this, and you can risk over here and see what you can get as well. So those 2 aspects are really nice, and it just makes for a really solid game of back and forth as you're I want to make sure that I get this, and this one's going to play really, really well for me. And it does. The round plays fast, but there's some really good thinking in it too.
Yeah, and you can take a card that you're not quite able to do at that time and then work towards getting it. But you can only hold 4 of those type of cards, and they all have to be different colors. Right. So you're really trying to get, it depends on what the colors are, what you're trying to get, but the iconography is really straightforward.
It is very
straightforward. And so you're never confused on what you're trying to do. Yeah. You know what's going on. So it is a perfect midweight game.
Exactly. So that is it for this month. We, as we tend to do, we tend to play a game 3-4 times or so. Unless it's like Second Chance where we're pulling it out again and so on. We're playing these games for the podcast. So remember, you can tune in for more details every week on the audio podcast at garrettsgames.com. Please remember to subscribe if you would down below. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you, and ring the bell so that you're notified when another video comes up. We are trying to get them out at least once a month. That is a for sure that we're going to do that. Yeah. And when something comes up, we try and get something else out on the video as well. We have a good time with this. We hope you're having a good time with it. You can support the podcast and this video at patreon.com/GarrettsGames. And we hope that your August goes very well. We're starting school in 2 weeks, so make sure you keep us in your thoughts. Have a good one, guys. Stay safe. be careful, take care of yourselves, and Black Lives Matter. We all need to be good to each other. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.